Well, we are recording, we're live. So, we've been doing this. This is our fourth Monday. I'm enjoying just diving into all the questions that I received on the survey. Let me mute everybody 1 second. There we go. Mute all. Okay. So you guys are muted. If you guys have questions as we go, you can unmute. But after the first one, I realized I think that it would be better to just do like kind of like a Q&A live each week versus like just diving into each question, because then it gives the opportunity for people to kind of ask as we go. So each week we've covered different things, and when I'm done kind of answering the questions for today, then if you have any others you want to add, we can go there. But I wanted to start by just giving like, I guess like my thought of the week. So, you know, if you're in a relationship, it's a daily job. It's a daily situation of communicating and, you know, give and take and putting your best foot forward and compromise and all the things that make relationships work. And so I was trying to just pay attention to just different arguments and things that we go through, and then how we handle them and how I can add value to people. So this one wasn't necessarily an argument. It was more of a positive that I recognized, but I thought it was worth sharing. And so it was over the weekend. I think it was on Saturday. I usually on the weekends, I'm the last one to wake up. So because Jason doesn't have to go in, he doesn't have to go into work any day, but he usually gets up like Monday through Friday, like a work morning. He's up at like 5 in the morning working, and I'm like knocked out sleeping. And then, so weekends, I'm up too to get us ready for the week. But on the weekends, I think on weekdays. So on the weekends, I take full advantage of sleeping in. And I'm like, I make sure that oh gosh, hold on, sorry guys. Oh no, sorry for you guys who are on here live. I'm like having a little bit of a technical difficulty. Okay, sorry about that. So it got dropped off, but I was basically saying that this particular weekend, which every weekend I take advantage, at least on Sundays, if we don't have soccer early, to sleep in. And so this time I was like, okay, let me get up early. I don't know what got into me, but I was like, I'm going to get up early and I'm going to get breakfast going. I'm going to like just be extra like on my wifey / like domestic duties. And so it was so funny because it was like my husband was very like he's like, dang, like it was the day after we had got back from being in town. So we had like a traveling date night. We went up north for my brother's football game and had a good time. It was just a one night getaway, but it was like much needed and so much fun. But like that next day, it was like I was just like up early, had breakfast going, his favorite breakfast, like had it set up and all this stuff. And so he was just like, dang, like I gotta take you on date night more often. And so it was just funny, and it reminded me of two things. One, of both of us not stopping doing the things that make each other happy, and two, making sure that you're knowing what that is. And so, you know, in his case, like he loves the domestic side of me. I hate the domestic. I don't hate, I rebuke that. I love being able to be domestic, but like it's not my favorite thing to cook, clean, like nothing, like none of those things. Like my goals is like to have a chef, a maid, a nanny, like all of it. Like I want to like be present with my kids, and that's it. I don't want to be like doing all the, like I would pay someone to pack baby bags and all the domestic things. It's just not my thing. I just don't, it's not like my favorite thing. Where there's plenty of women who it's like it floats their boat to like make their home and like prepare meals and do all those things. So anyway, he likes that side of me, but it's just not my like favorite thing to do. And so when I do it, I notice like how happy it makes him. And so it just reminded me to remind you guys that in your relationship, how important it is not to lose sight of what it is that floats your significant other's boat and what it is that floats your boat, so that you guys can communicate those things. Because if you guys can do those things for each other, it goes a long ways. And it's like, I'm always cooking and like cleaning and keeping up our house, like, because I have to. But I think this particular moment, what made it different was I was like on it and I wanted to. I was like, ooh, I'm going to get up before them and I'm going to have breakfast ready and I'm going to like have it all set up. And I think my heart was in it more differently, and it showed. And so I thought that was a good note to make, that, it's so easy to get busy and then get like wrapped up in the day-to-day grind, that you are not showing up with like a giving energy, and you're showing up more of like out of like, I have to do this, or you're not doing it at all. And it's so easy to stop doing the little things. And then even just date night, how that rejuvenated both of us. And it was like, we do date nights, but we've fallen off pretty much since I would like towards the end of my pregnancy. It was easier for us to just not do anything. We were consistently going every single Thursday, and then we just slowly stopped going at all. And then now we've been just doing more things like date night ins. So this like trip was so much needed, of just like getting away and like not having to be responsible for anybody except for ourselves. And so also just making sure that you're reconnecting if you do have kids, that I know we catch ourselves going down memory lane so much, and like thinking of the times before we had kids. Of course we love our kids and we wouldn't give them up and we wouldn't trade them in, but like we go reminisce about those times when we didn't have that element of our life, and that it was just us, and we talk about and we think about all the things and the memories that we had without those responsibilities. So I just wanted to encourage you guys to connect and ask yourself, when was the last time you guys did your favorite things that you love to do? What are those things? Do you even know what those things are? I share this example pretty often, but like for me, when I decided that I was going to be a work at home mom, I knew that things were going to like change, in the sense of like my time to be domestic was going to be shortened, and I was going to be giving up some of those things where I wasn't going to be cooking as often and cleaning as often. And because I know that those things are important to my husband, we really had to talk about it. And so it was interesting when I asked him here, I'm thinking he's going to hope that I'm like, in some lingerie when he gets home from work every day, and that's like what's going to make him happy. And it was like, no, like I love to see you like in the kitchen. I love to have like a fresh home cooked meal. And I was like, freak, like, why does it have to be that? I'd much rather just be in the lingerie. But it's one of those things where you have to know what it is that makes them happy, because you could assume, but you don't always know. And sometimes it's a lot simpler than what you think. Sometimes it's not, but like you can't assume. And I also have shared the example of our love language. Like I assumed I knew what his love language was, and it wasn't that. So once I realized what it was, then I was able to adjust and make sure that I was speaking that language also, because I realized I wasn't speaking it at all. So here I thought I was doing a good job of showing my love for him, and I wasn't showing it at all because I wasn't speaking that language. So those were just the things that I wanted to share with you guys for this week. And yes, I'm almost done. Thank you. And so I'll just stop there for a second and see if there's any live questions. And then if not, then I can answer one of the questions that we had on the survey. Anybody on the Zoom? What about like if you're on, whether you're on Zoom or on the Instagram, like what is your biggest, someone unmuted. Go ahead. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it was just me. But what is like your biggest, any tips for relationships that only get weekend time? Yeah, so now is your weekend time like undivided, or are you sharing it with like kids too? And I'll wait for you to answer that part. But I mean, I think it's interesting because I feel like only one 2-year-old. Okay. So I mean, like what we're working on doing, because I feel like if you look at our week, like Monday through Friday, we have soccer every day of the week. So like we're working from morning till we pick up our kids. We just picked up our kids from school. I literally was rushing in to get on here and lock myself in the office, and he's taking them to soccer, and my mother-in-law's keeping the other three. So it's like we're not together right now. Now we do have the luxury of being able to work from home, so we're around each other, but we're not intimate, like we're not quality time. So there's a big difference in my opinion. But like, so Monday through Friday our week is shot, like it's gone. So I would say we only have weekends also. So you know, in our case, we're able to plan like night times where our kids go to bed. So I guess like we do have that opportunity. But on the weekends, I would just make sure you're planning. Like, this is why I'm such a big planner, because the year will just slip away from you. So I would say like plan. And you have your 2-year-old, so I don't know if you guys have like bedtime routines and things, but if you don't, like I would say maybe consider doing that, where he or she's going down at like 8 o'clock or whatever like a decent hour is, and then dedicating the rest of those nights for you guys. And then maybe during the day, making it like maybe 2 weekends out of the month is like family stuff, and 2 weekends is like you guys get at least a day together. So you know, there's ways to get creative. If you're talking like you have Saturday and Sunday together, you could do lots of things. I would say planning is going to be your biggest thing, so that time doesn't just get away from you. Because if you're anything like me, it's like I make all these like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then I've changed this, but I wouldn't make the plans, and then that time would come up on me, and I'd be like, okay, next year or next month or next week or whatever, and then next week, next month, next year would come, and I still wouldn't have done it. So I would say planning is going to be your best friend. And okay, I'm seeing you do bedtime, so I'm going to like answer another question, but in the meantime, tell me like, where do you think the disconnect is now? Like, what are you guys doing on those 2 days that you guys have during the weekend? So that maybe I can get a better context of where you're struggling. Was it emotionally difficult for you to speak his language? Yes, I have a reminder on my phone. Like literally, I don't know what it is, but it's words of affirmation, and it's like the hardest thing. So I don't know why. I don't know at all why that is, but it's like, I think it's just because it's a bad habit of mine to speak like what's wrong with a situation versus what's right. And so it's quick for me to have like, oh, you should have did this, or why didn't you do that? And so I'm really challenging myself to see the positive and to speak it out loud. Like, that was awesome that you took the kids to the park today while I did my call. Thank you. Like things like that, like being mindful of speaking those things and not just thinking them and not acknowledging them out loud verbally. So yes, it can be a challenge. There's a question over here. Hold on. Is there something specific you recommend to help us to discover our love language? Have you done the love language test? I would say Google the love language test. It's super easy to find. It comes up, and then both of you guys just take it. We did it together, where I think I even did it for him because he wasn't going to do it himself. So that was part of our date night. Like we literally I asked him the question and I filled it out for him, and then we got his score, and then I was able to see it. And it was actually really fun because it was actually shocking. And then once you're on their email list, they email you like different things that you can get, like they give you ideas of how to speak that language. They give you things you can do to speak that language. So it's great. I recommend it to everybody to go and do that tool if you haven't already, because it was definitely a huge help for us. I don't know, Nakia, if you have anything to add as far as like what you guys are doing on the weekends, but feel free to reach out and ask. Specifically, because it's kind of hard without context, because I have no idea. Like when I think of like when we only had one child, and we've never only had weekends, so that's the thing. We'll have our nights, but it's difficult transitioning our weekend together. Okay, so when you say this is why live is so hard, because I wish you could just come live and talk to me and I could hear like what you're saying. But let me see, can I request you? I'm gonna take you live. Let's see if this works. See if you get my request.
Charlie has a movie on in the game.
Okay, I'm almost in. Okay, so Nakia, I tried requesting you live, but I don't know if you declined it. But I just need more context of what you mean by merging your weekend, because I don't know what you mean. Like, do you guys have different schedules, and you're saying like merging the time schedule, or I don't know exactly. I didn't get one. I can hold on. Let me see. Oh, okay. There was another. This is for the single Crystal. My sister has been in a 7-year relationship and it's going nowhere. How do I help support her? I feel like, okay, this is interesting because I was talking to a friend about this, about how my struggle with giving any type of relationship advice, and this is why I haven't done it for all these years, because I just feel like what goes on between a couple is between the couple. Like, nobody, like, think of your own relationship. And this is why I'm a huge believer of like not telling your business to your friends and your family, because friends and family don't forgive the way you do. Like, we put up with so much more crap from our significant other because we love their dirty draws, right? So like, your friends and family are not going to love the way you love, and they're not going to forget the way you can forget and heal and move on. And so it's the same thing when it comes to someone who's in a 7-year relationship and it's not going anywhere. There's tons of context there that I have no idea how to speak to. Like, I don't know what not going anywhere means. I don't know if that means they're not married and they're not getting married. I don't know if that means they're not going anywhere productive. Like, that's very vague in the sense of I don't know what that means. But I was excited to say next week on Monday, same time and everything, but instead of doing this format, I'm going to teach like how you can do a vision board with your significant other, and how if you're not in a relationship, you can make a vision board for your relationship that you're wanting to be in. So I'm really excited about that one, because I think that that's been a huge component of our relationship, is having that vision together and like knowing our goals, knowing our non-negotiables, knowing what floats our boats and all of those things. So you don't have to necessarily come to the call with your significant other, but you can if you want to. But I'm really excited about that next week. So like, what my point of bringing that up is like, I think they can, I don't know why I paused. Okay, well, sorry guys, my Instagram video paused, but no one knows why. So, give me 1 second. Sorry. Why is my music playing too? I never knew your music would play while you're live on Instagram. Okay, so I feel like the question about your relationship not going anywhere is so vague, because that I don't know like the details of it. So my advice there would be to just get some intervention in the relationship as far as like reconnecting to why are you together. I think a big solution to any problem in life is to connect to the why. Why am I even doing this? Why do I want this? If you're like stuck in your personal life or your career life or your relationships, like, why am I here? Why do I want this? Okay, now, is the things that I'm doing on a daily basis contributing to that why? So in that 7-year relationship, why are they still together? Do they want to continue to be together, or is one of them having a problem just letting go? Because that's easy for humans to do, is that we get so used to like the normal routine, and it's hard for us to just break out of it. So we're not even in it anymore because we want to be. It's more just because we feel like we're just in it, you know? So there's lots of things. It's like, again, it's kind of hard. If you want to request to go live with me, you can. And I don't know if you're even still there because my thing froze. But and then I can maybe hear more context. But my suggestion, first of all, invite them on to the vision board party next week, or invite her, and maybe it could help her find some remedies, because I think a relationship can be revived. Maybe 7 years is a long time. Maybe they're just having an itch of I'm bored, or we're growing apart instead of together, things like that. But I also would say that a relationship success relies in your hands. If you're unhappy, that's on you. And so anytime there's a problem in your relationship, 9.999 out of 10 times, the problem is something you need to address. And that could even mean you needing to walk away. But you can fix the problems that you're engaged with, because you have control over the people you keep in your life, the situations you stay in, and people treat you how you allow them to treat you, and they treat you how you treat yourself. So I think just knowing how much self-control you have over a situation is very, very powerful. So last call. That reminded me, the most recent issue was that her friend found him on a dating app. Yeah, see, here's the thing. This is where I feel relationship advice is very not this is not the career path I'm taking. I'm doing this because I do believe that I have value to add, and I want to help people in relationships, and I'm happy to share what's worked for me. But I am not a counselor. I'm not a relationship expert. But my personal opinion is, again, when you're in a relationship with another human being, it is between you and that person. And in my situation, our relationship battles are between me, my husband, and God. I don't be like, girl, can you believe I found this on, what's it called, Tinder.com or whatever. I don't tell my issues to other people, because there's lots of reasons why. One is when you're telling people about anything, you're telling them with an agenda. You're either telling them so that they can endorse you to stay there, or so that they can save you to get out of there. So by her telling you, she's either telling you because she wants you to be you need to go, you gotta go, you gotta get out. Or she's telling you so you could be it's not even that big of a deal. I don't know who you are to her. I know you're her sister, but I don't know who you are in the sense of where do you fall in the category of how you react to things. But just that in itself is usually a cry for help. But it's if I found my husband on a dating app, I would have to ask questions. I would have to, and to be honest, I probably wouldn't ask questions first. I'd probably break some phones and throw some fits, and it would be war. But then if I was gonna make the decision now, okay, am I gonna stay? Because there's only two choices at that point. Am I gonna forgive him and move forward and stay in this relationship, or am I gonna break this relationship off and move on? That's where she needs to decide. But by staying in the problem is not the answer. By rallying people around her and talking about it to other people is not the answer, because for every day, week, hour, minute that she's reliving that, she's hurting herself. She's continuing to live in the turmoil versus focus on the solution and focus on moving forward. So I would say right there, number one thing that I would recommend she do is focus on, what does she want next? Does she want to stay in this relationship? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, okay, how am I going to stay in this relationship and be able to forgive? Because I will tell you that it took me, there was things that I went through with my husband prior to even getting married, and then there was things after we got married, and there's he's not perfect. There's things all the time that can make me mad and upset. But I did learn that, literally I learned this a couple years ago. I was holding on to things then that he had done not only before we were married, but years and years and years and years and years ago, and I was still bringing it up to this day. So now it wasn't what he did back then that was ruining in our relationship. It was me still bringing it up and me still living in the turmoil, because just because I didn't break up with him and leave him doesn't mean that I forgave him and I move on. That's two different things. So is she going to be able to forgive him? Would I be able to forgive my husband if he's on a dating app? I mean, there's no need for my husband to be on nobody's dating app. So, like, the only way I would even maybe believe is if he was like, well, I'm trying to make sure my daughters aren't on here. And girl, like, we know my daughters are not on there. So, like, that's a huge decision to make. Just like if I caught my husband cheating, this is a question and a debate I've had many a times. Would you stay and would you forgive and or would you go? And I fall on two different sides of the fence, and it all comes down to who you're with. It comes down to, are they really sorry? Are they going to work on themselves to get better? Why did it happen? One of the most profound things that I've ever heard when it comes to cheating is don't worry about worry about who they were being when they were with that person. So usually cheating isn't like, oh, like, you know, like, I don't know, there's just so many levels to it. It's like, like in my case, that the reason why that saying was so profound for me was because I was like, you know what, if my husband ever cheated on me, I bet you it would be because I wasn't letting him be himself, because I was a controlling ass, jealous, insecure, territorial person. So if he was going out of town, who are you with? Where are you at? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? And that was a terrible pattern. And so I could see if he cheated, it would be because he just wanted to be free and just do what he wanted to do without somebody nagging in his ear all day, letting him just live. Like, he's a grown ass man. He should be able to do what he wants, when he wants to do, when he wants, and where he wants, with who he wants, because he should have trust from me that he's going to make the right decisions. But I didn't have that trust because of way 10 umpteen years ago of things that I never had let go of. So if she's going to stay in the relationship because of the dating app, it's because she, like, I mean, that you get where I'm going. Like, we could stay here all day, but it's a personal decision, and it's a decision only she and he know what's right, what's actually right to move forward. Because I don't know why he's on a dating app. I don't know if he's done with the relationship. I mean, I don't believe anything really good is coming of that. But is he willing to change? Do I believe people change? Yeah. Do I believe that it could be a mistake, that he's, you know, we'll see that he was wrong and it's worth staying and moving forward? I think that's possible, but I don't know who the man is. So I can't, like, you know, I can't really speak specifically. Thank you. I know it's hard. That's why I asked, because my delivery isn't her favorite. Yeah, I mean, well, then that, to me, that tells me that she's just crying out for, like, condolence, but she doesn't want to hear what maybe she feels like she needs to hear. I don't know. Like, I'm just not in that situation, so I don't know, and I can't speak, like, so strongly to that. I would say, like, pray for her, and I would, like, just explain to her, like, kind of what I'm explaining to you, like, just dig deeper. Like, why is he on the dating app? Like, what are you going to do if you stay with him? Are you going to be happy? Are you going to be able to let go of that? Are you going to be thinking about that all the time? You know, and, like, if you are, it's going to just continue to create a bad pattern, bad energy in that relationship. So that's never good. Okay, there's one more thing here. Just saw this opportunity on Facebook and signed up like 2 minutes ago. So happy to be here. Sorry for the lateness. Top 5 nurturing. Top 5 tips for nurturing our energies as mama. Okay. So, the question, and if you're still there, Vanessa, you're still there. When you say top 5 things when nurturing your energy as a mom, are you saying, like, you're a mom and you're looking for, like, the top 5 things that you would say to just be, to nurture your own energy as a mom, like to protect your sanity? Or are you saying, like, to be a nurturing mom? Like, explain more what you're meaning if you can. And you can unmute and say it if you want. You don't even have to come off camera if you don't want.
Hi, Crystal.
Hi.
Hi. Yes, I meant more like nurturing my energy throughout the day. I'm an entrepreneur myself, and I have a 2-year-old, but by noon, I'm just so tired.
Yeah.
So do you have any tips that will help me really carry out the day in a mindful way?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Okay, so 5 tips, I would say, And these, I'm just kind of coming off of the cuff. I feel like planning out your day is huge. So for me, like I plan my week at a glance. I plan my year, my month, my week, my day at a glance. So that helps me to know, and I'm mastering it more and more every day. I'm not perfect at it. Like today I missed a very important call that I had because I literally just checked out. Like me and my husband went on a trip on Thursday, Friday, and then we went into the weekend and I just checked out. Usually Sunday I look at my calendar, I see what's happening in my week, but I just was like overwhelmed. I had a little self-sabotage going on. This is why I'm so into like being self-aware and the power of how we keep ourselves stuck in so many ways we don't even realize it. But because I'm able to identify that now, I know when I'm self-sabotaging, and I know that I was self-sabotaging this weekend because I have a lot of things going on right now, a lot of positive things, a lot of things that literally could change my life, like big time. And so I'm battling with self-sabotage because that's what the brain does to us. And so one of the things that I would say is like planning your week at a glance so that in each day you can see like, am I really tired? Like I was even going to talk about this because it's so profound, but like am I really tired, or is my subconscious dragging me down because I'm an entrepreneur and I'm changing lives? And like I equate the subconscious to like the devil, and like that like, you know, you have the angel and the devil on your shoulders. The subconscious is like that devil that's going to try to keep you stuck and keep you back and keep you safe and keep you the same and keep you from being a giving spirit. It's going to be like ego, you're tired, take a nap, you're tired, sit down somewhere, you're tired, don't do that. And it's going to stop you from giving and being a giving person. And so really evaluate like those are kind of two different things that kind of transition into a second thing. So like one would be planning, and the reason why planning is so important is because then you can see like, okay, like I know on certain days that I'm going to have like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to be speaking at an event. So on Monday, like let's just say, because tomorrow's Tuesday, so Monday I want to keep my evening light so that I can get good rest and I'm not overwhelmed and like overdoing myself or whatever. So it allows you to see your week at a glance and really plan so that you don't take on too much, because I was very guilty of that for a long time, of just anywhere that I had an open space in the day or in the week, I was filling it and then I was never stopping. And I feel like I know now the difference between being busy and being productive. And it's funny because people call me busy all the time and I'm like, I'm not busy at all. Like literally, you talk about self-sabotage. From Thursday to Sunday I did absolutely nothing, because I just did absolutely nothing. And I had a million things I wanted to do and that I could have done, but I did nothing. So like, I'm not a busy person. I'm just productive because I have clear vision and I plan out what I execute on. And so to the outside world, I seem very busy because I'm actually executing on things. I'm taking action. And so that would be one thing, planning. The other thing being self-aware. Just like be aware of when are you feeling tired? When do you feel most tired? Is it actually caused by something? It could be something you're eating. It could be because you weren't sleeping. I think you said you have a 2-year-old, so I don't know if your 2-year-old's still waking up at night. You know, sometimes you have to give yourself grace, because like for me, I'm exhausted. Like me and my husband went to a golf course today he spoke at an event, and you know, I was good. We went, but I was knocked out on the way home. I slept and I was tired, where usually I could be up and I'd be working on my phone or talking to him or whatever, but I slept. But I'm also waking up every single night with a new baby, right? And then up early with the kids and all of that. So it might be a season of grace that you just have to know you're a mother, and mothers are tired. That's just part of our nature, really. But I will say that I'm not always exhausted, and I have 5 kids, so I don't think that that's the only thing. Another thing I would say is, just like I already mentioned, like food that you're eating, food and water have a huge deal with your energy. I mean, I typically have tons of energy, even with waking up with babies and having all the kids and being like a productive person. I can maintain my energy pretty well. I usually am starting to crash by like 9, 10 o'clock. I'll feel tired, but I can go a whole day without napping and things like that. So being mindful of the food and drink that you're putting in your body. And then you talked about energy. Protecting your energy is huge. So I would just say the final one would be like managing what you're putting in your space. Like what is consuming you on a daily basis? So is it like, where are you watching certain things on TV? Are you scrolling through social media? Like that could be draining, just scrolling. You're an entrepreneur. I don't know what you do for a business, but for me, I find myself getting drained when I'm scrolling through Instagram and I'm like seeing like, oh, they're doing this. Oh, they're doing that. Oh my gosh, I wanted to do that. I'm so behind. And then I start comparing myself and feeling behind and feeling less than and feeling like I'm not doing enough and I'm not enough and my Instagram isn't this and I don't have enough that and I'm not doing like, and it drains me. And then instead of getting off Instagram and wanting to go and grow my business even more, I want to do absolutely nothing because I just feel overwhelmed and behind. So be mindful of like protecting your energy in that way. What I've learned in this season as an entrepreneur is I was doing way too much market research, and that's how I was justifying it. Like, well, I'm starting a business, so I need to study what everybody else is doing so that I can make sure that I'm up to par and I'm doing, you know, what the market standard is. And I really believe that because we're all unique and we're all made with special gifts, we literally have everything within us that we need, that if we were to just get quiet within ourselves and let ourselves not be distracted by what all these people around us are doing, we would create so much more magic because we wouldn't be crippled with comparison and we wouldn't be crippled with feeling like we're behind or even ego, like we're ahead and then slowing down because we feel like we've made it or we're good. And so I think just giving yourself that quiet time and really realizing that as an entrepreneur, it's so important to have that quiet time to yourself. So lastly, on that note and going back to the first one of planning, I would say with your 2-year-old, I don't know if he or she's taking naps, but like I work in nap time. Like that's my day. I block that out. I used to have calls and I'd be doing grocery shopping. I'd do all this stuff and then my day would be gone. But I plan my day to a T. I order my groceries now. Like, so when I was at the golf course, my groceries got delivered while I was gone. So that was one less thing that I had to do today, so that I could get like more done. And then, I just plan my day. So in that block of time where my babies are napping at home, that's when I'm not on social media. I'm not taking calls. I'm not going places. I'm in my office or wherever I'm working for that day, and I'm working on my craft, my business. And that fuels me. So I believe when you're working in your power and in your zone of genius, it's like a drug in itself of just this energy and this momentum that you get of adrenaline from being like in your excitement. Like, you know, that's how I'm able to stay up late. The other night I was up till like 3:30 in the morning, and then like Noli wakes up like around 1 in the morning. So I went upstairs, I fed her, and I came back down and I finished, but it was because I was on an adrenaline high of being in my passion work. So I think that when you're doing your zone of genius, it also helps you to you know, have more energy. Does that help? Thank you. I know. I don't know if you're still there, Vanessa, but I hope that helped, or I hope it helped somebody. But I wanted to try to keep these around 30 minutes. So I'm gonna. Are you unmuted now?
Yes, I was just saying yes. Thank you so much. It did really help.
What is your business, by the way?
I'm a relationship coach.
Oh, cool. Then you should be hosting this call.
Definitely, for sure.
I love it. Will you, I don't know, like message me on Facebook or email, because now you have my email, but message me. I'd love to connect with you. And I have a friend who / client who I'm helping build her relationship brand. And it was funny because she reached out to me because I started doing this, and I'm like, honestly, I'm doing this because I feel like being in a relationship for 15 years, I have something that I can offer, but I'm not doing this as a business. Like, I wouldn't take money from anybody to have me pay, like, to help with relationships. So I would love to be able to refer you, and I'd love to connect you guys. You guys can work together. She's like wanting to build like, you know, just different platforms of like offering relationship advice and things like that. So I think what you do is great and much needed. So that's awesome.
That would be great. Yeah, I'll totally send you a message.
Oh, say that again. Sorry.
I said that'll be great. I'll totally send you a message for sure.
Yeah, please. Where do you live at?
Canada.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. I look forward to your message and talking with you. And yay, I got melanin. Sorry, I can barely see from this. Thank you. I'm glad that it helped. And thank you guys for tuning in today. We're meeting every Monday at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. And next week, like I said, I'm going to be doing a vision board, just kind of showing you guys a couple of things you could do to set vision in your relationships. And hopefully that will help you. So invite some people if you know anybody who needs that in their life. And I hope that it will bless somebody. So I'm excited for it. Have a good night, everybody.